Some temples are famous, while others hide in shadows, lost to time, buried underground, or hidden deep in dense jungles. From ancient carvings to chilling secrets, these 17 mysterious temples hold stories waiting to be uncovered.
When it came to the sixth door, which they called Chamber B, they were decorated with cobras. This is a sign of danger, like a skull and crossbones.
Ready to explore the world's most hidden wonders? Gear up, because this journey is full of surprises. Wat Rong Khun, tucked away in Thailand's Chiang Rai province, Wat Rong Khun, or the White Temple, is one of the country's most remarkable architectural marvels. Designed by the visionary artist Chalamchai Kositpipat, this temple isn't just a place of worship, it's a breathtaking fusion of art, spirituality, and symbolism. What happens when an artist pours their heart, soul, and life savings into one project? Well, this is that project. At first glance, it seems to glisten as if made entirely from porcelain. But here's the twist. It's actually built from concrete and wood, with white plaster and tiny mirrored glass pieces, creating that sparkling illusion. Simple materials, yet extraordinary results. The reflective surfaces catch the light just right, giving the temple an almost otherworldly glow. It looks flashy, but the story behind it has a lot more going on. By the late 20th century, the original temple had fallen into disrepair, with little hope for restoration. That's when Chalamchai stepped in, determined to bring it back to life using his own money. Over 40 million Thai baht, to be exact. Can you imagine that level of dedication? For him, this temple isn't just a structure, it's an offering to Buddha and a legacy he hopes will outlive him. Walking through the temple grounds is like stepping into a storybook filled with symbolism. The bridge leading to the main building represents the cycle of rebirth, with hundreds of outstretched hands symbolizing human greed and desire. The message? True happiness comes from letting go of worldly attachments. And then there's the Gate of Heaven, guarded by two imposing figures, Death and Rahu, who are said to determine the fate of souls. Past the gate, the serene image of meditative Buddhas offers a peaceful contrast to the intense symbolism of the earlier structures. But perhaps one of the most intriguing aspects is its golden building. Yes, a golden restroom. While the White Temple symbolizes purity and spiritual focus, the golden structure represents worldly desires and materialism. It's a striking visual metaphor and a reminder of the balance between body and mind. Inside the main building, or Ubosot, the walls tell an unexpected story. Amid traditional Buddhist imagery, you'll spot modern icons like Michael Jackson, Neo from The Matrix, and even Superman. Scenes of destruction, wars, terrorism, and environmental decay are painted alongside these figures, serving as a sobering reminder of humanity's darker side. In 2014, the temple faced a major setback when an earthquake hit the region. Initially, Chalamchai considered abandoning the project, fearing structural damage. But after experts deemed the building safe, he vowed to restore the temple to its former glory. Currently, Wat Rong Khun continues to evolve, with construction expected to continue until 2070. It remains open year-round, with a modest entry fee for foreign visitors. Interestingly, Chalamchai refuses large donations, determined to keep his vision untainted by outside influence. Shwedagon Pagoda, rising majestically above the city of Yangon, the Shwedagon Pagoda isn't just an architectural wonder, it's the most sacred Buddhist site in Myanmar. Known as the Golden Pagoda or the Great Dagon Pagoda, this breathtaking structure is a gilded stupa shimmering in gold, standing tall on Singutara Hill. What makes Shwedagon so revered? According to ancient beliefs, it holds relics from 4 Buddhas of our era. These include the staff of Kakusanda, the water filter of Kotanagama, a piece of Kasapa's robe, and perhaps most famous of all, 8 strands of hair from Gautama Buddha himself. Standing at a towering height of 367 feet and perched on a 167-foot hill, it dominates Yangon's skyline. Interestingly, city zoning laws prevent any building from exceeding 417 feet above sea level, ensuring that Shwedagon remains the tallest and most prominent landmark in the city. Its base is built from sturdy bricks, carefully covered with layers of gold plates. Rising above are a series of terraces, areas reserved exclusively for monks and male devotees. The structure continues with a bell-shaped dome, followed by distinct segments known as the turban, the inverted alms bowl, lotus petals, both upright and inverted, the banana bud, and finally the grand umbrella crown. Here's an astonishing detail. The very top of this iconic crown holds 5,448 diamonds and 2,317 rubies, and is crowned by a dazzling 76-carat diamond. Ever wondered how all this gold came to cover the stupa? Generations of monarchs, beginning with Queen Shin Sa Pu, along with countless devotees from across Myanmar, have donated gold to maintain the pagoda's grandeur. The gold plates are traditionally riveted onto the structure, preserving both heritage and devotion. Each of the 4 entrances to the Shwedagon Pagoda is guarded by a pair of imposing leogryphs, mythical lion-like creatures. These entrances lead up long flights of steps to the main platform. The eastern and southern pathways are especially lively, lined with vendors selling prayer flags, candles, incense sticks, flowers, and even miniature Buddha statues. Here's something interesting. Pilgrims traditionally walk around the stupa in a clockwise direction. Kailasa Temple, Maharashtra, India, is home to the Kailasa Temple, and trust me, it's an architectural showstopper. Standing proudly among the Ellora caves, this colossal structure isn't just a temple, it's a story carved in stone. Known as one of the largest rock-cut temples in the world, its sheer scale and intricate detailing continue to leave historians, architects, and visitors in awe. How did ancient craftsmen, without modern tools, manage to create something so extraordinary? Believed to have been commissioned by the Rashtrakuta king Krishna I in the 8th century, this temple was carved vertically from a single massive rock. Yes, instead of building from the ground up, artisans started from the top and worked their way downward. An engineering feat that seems almost impossible even by today's standards. The temple gets its name from Mount Kailash, the mythical abode of Lord Shiva. Everywhere you look, there are breathtaking carvings and sculptures depicting scenes from ancient Hindu epics like the Ramayana and Mahabharata. Stories of gods, demons, and celestial beings are etched into the walls with such finesse that it feels as though the rock itself was alive under the artist's tools. One of the most famous carvings is the scene of Ravana shaking Mount Kailash, a sculpture so detailed and expressive that it captures the tension and power of the myth perfectly. But that's just one among countless works of art scattered throughout the temple complex. From towering pillars to intricate friezes, every inch of this structure tells a story. Interestingly, historical records about the temple are somewhat fragmented. While inscriptions link the construction to King Krishna I, some historians believe multiple rulers contributed to its completion. Elements of Pallava, Chalukya, and even later styles can be traced in its design. Did each ruler add their own signature to this masterpiece? That's a question still debated by scholars. Another fascinating detail lies in the temple's layout. The entrance courtyard leads to a central shrine dedicated to Lord Shiva, complete with an image of his sacred bull, Nandi, sitting watchfully in front. Carved bridges, now partially collapsed, once connected galleries to the main shrine, allowing for smooth ceremonial processions. Temple of Quetzalcoatl. Teotihuacan, an ancient city in central Mexico, was once one of the most influential cultural and architectural hubs of Mesoamerica. At the heart of this old metropolis lies one of its most fascinating structures, the Temple of the Feathered Serpent. Its name comes from the intricate carvings of the feathered serpent deity that cover its sides. One of the earliest known depictions of this mythical figure, later associated with the Aztec god Quetzalcoatl. Ancient Mexican civilizations weren't shy about building grand temples, pyramids, and altars to honor their gods, and sometimes to offer rather dramatic gifts. But beyond the impressive carvings and design, archaeologists stumbled upon something extraordinary beneath the temple in the 1980s. Over 100 human remains, believed to be sacrificial victims. These remains date back to somewhere between 150 and 200 CE, offering a chilling glimpse into the rituals once performed here. Why were so many lives sacrificed at this temple? What were the people of Teotihuacan hoping to achieve with these rituals? While we may never know the exact answers, historians suggest these sacrifices were acts of devotion to ensure prosperity, protection, or perhaps even stability in uncertain times. The temple itself is part of a larger complex known as the Ciudadela, an enclosed plaza that would have served as both a ceremonial space and a political hub. This architectural layout wasn't just impressive, it was intentional. Every stone, every carving, every corner of Teotihuacan seemed to serve a purpose, reflecting the city's deep connection to both religion and governance. Madain Salih. Have you ever wondered where some of the most amazing lost wonders have been hiding? Let's take a journey to Saudi Arabia, where something truly extraordinary awaits. Hidden within the country, there's an ancient temple known as Madain Salih, or Hegra, that's not just any temple, it's literally carved into a massive rock. And when you see it, you'll be amazed at how they were able to carve it without the rock falling apart. It's truly incredible. But wait, it gets even more mind-blowing. The people who built this temple didn't stop there. They didn't just create a sacred space, they carved entire homes into the rock too. And the best part, some of these ancient homes are still standing, strong as ever. The silence here is almost otherworldly. There are no bustling cities nearby, no noise from traffic or crowds. If you were to visit and just listen for a moment, the only sounds you'd hear would be the peaceful whispers of nature. It's the kind of quiet we all need. What makes this place even more special is that it's the very first UNESCO World Heritage Site in Saudi Arabia. That's a huge honor, especially when you consider how rich the country is in history and culture. But here's the real mystery. How did these ancient builders manage to carve such detailed temples and tombs high up in the rocks? How much time did they spend on that? The precision is astonishing. For archaeologists, discoveries like these are pure gold. They can't help but get excited as they dig deeper into the past, hoping to reveal more about the people who created these wonders. Padmanabhaswamy Temple. Meet the awe-inspiring Padmanabhaswamy Temple, a true gem of India's heritage. Dating back to the 8th century, it's a grand tribute to Lord Vishnu, like so many other beautiful temples across the land. But there's something about this one that truly sets it apart from the rest. What could make it so special? Renowned for its immense wealth, this temple shines with unparalleled grandeur and pristine care. Its history goes back to a ruler who wasn't just concerned with maintaining the temple, but also with improving the lives of the people around it. Fast forward to today, and it's the royal family of India who's taken on the responsibility of preserving the temple. They even set up a trust to oversee its maintenance, which included a huge modern renovation to make sure the temple looked exactly as it should. But that's not all. This temple is home to some incredible treasures. Over time, there were rumors about what might be hidden inside the temple's vaults, leading people to wonder if the royal family was being fully transparent about the wealth contained within. Eventually, a petition was filed, and the vaults were opened after many years. But what was found inside? Gold coins, statues, jewelry, precious stones, crowns, and even gold thrones, this temple turned out to hold the largest collection of gold and precious stones ever recorded. All of it was stashed away in its vaults. However, there's still a mystery. They weren't able to open the 6th vault, leaving us all wondering what secrets it might be hiding. Whatever might be hidden in the 6th vault, there's no disputing that Padmanabhaswamy Temple is a site of unparalleled worth, rich in both history and gold. Angkor Wat Temple. There's a place in Cambodia that holds a record no other site in the world can claim the title of the biggest religious structure ever created. Welcome to Angkor Wat, a temple so vast and intricate that it has fascinated millions for centuries. With nearly 900 years of history carved into its stones, this site is a true marvel of ancient engineering and artistry. Covering over 400 acres and surrounded by a massive moat, it's colossal. To put it in perspective, the temple is measuring 4 times the area of Vatican City, a comparison that makes its scale all the more staggering. Built in the 12th century under the reign of a visionary king, this incredible structure took 30 years to complete. Originally dedicated to Lord Vishnu, a prominent deity in Hinduism, Angkor Wat was later transformed into a Hindu temple. Its iconic central towers were designed to symbolize Mount Meru, the legendary mountain said to be the home of the gods. Every surface of this temple tells a story. Its walls are adorned with carvings depicting Hindu myths, historical events, and even scenes of daily life from centuries ago. These intricate details not only showcase the artistry of the time, but also offer a glimpse into the spiritual and cultural world of its creators. Though time and neglect have taken their toll, Angkor Wat still amazes us as proof of human creativity and effort. Today, it's one of the most popular tourist destinations in the world, attracting millions of visitors each year who come to marvel at its beauty and scale. Virabhadra Temple. Ever stepped into a place so grand that you can't help but feel the weight of history? That's exactly what happens when you see Virabhadra Temple. Built with such skill, it's a real example of India's architectural brilliance. You can't help but ask yourself, how did they create such intricate designs? And how on earth did they carve and shape everything so perfectly? The level of detail is just mind-blowing. But this temple isn't just about its stunning design. There's a fascinating story behind it. According to Indian legend, one of their gods blessed this very temple, all because a bird tried to rescue a stolen bride. Sounds like an epic tale. Well, when you hear the full story, it all starts to make sense. Now, this temple is not just some ordinary building. It's one of India's national treasures and is considered one of the most stunning temples ever created. And the wonder doesn't stop at the exterior. Step inside and you'll be amazed by the art that covers every inch of the temple. From the carvings to the paintings, there's so much to see. You could easily spend hours getting lost in the beauty of it all. Borobudur Temple. In the heart of central Java, Indonesia stands an awe-inspiring structure from the 9th century. Borobudur Temple. Known locally as Candi Borobudur, this ancient site isn't just a temple, it's a masterpiece of both art and architecture. Did you know it took around 60 years to complete this masterpiece? That's dedication on an entirely different level. Built from sturdy grey andesite stone, the temple rises in a series of 9 stacked platforms, 6 square ones at the base and 3 circular ones above. At the very top sits a central dome encircled by 72 Buddha statues, each tucked inside a bell-shaped stupa. Imagine walking through the temple's corridors, where 2,672 relief panels tell intricate stories carved in stone. Can you believe that there are also 1,460 narrative panels along the walls and balustrades? The design of Borobudur isn't random. Its layout reflects Javanese Buddhist architecture, blending ancient local traditions with Buddhist principles aimed at guiding devotees toward nirvana. Who built this marvel? Historians credit the Sailendra dynasty, a powerful ruling family of the time. However, by the 14th century, the temple was mysteriously abandoned. Some believe it was due to the rise of Islam in Java and the decline of Hindu-Buddhist kingdoms. For centuries, Borobudur lay hidden beneath layers of volcanic ash and dense vegetation until 1814, when Sir Thomas Stamford Raffles, the British governor of Java, was informed of its existence by locals. The temple has undergone several restoration efforts, the most significant one completed in 1983, thanks to a collaboration between the Indonesian government and UNESCO. Today, Borobudur proudly stands as a UNESCO World Heritage Site and remains one of Indonesia's most visited landmarks. Believe it or not, Borobudur holds the title of the world's largest Buddhist temple. It's often compared to other grand archaeological sites like Bagan in Myanmar and Angkor Wat in Cambodia. Every year, during Vesak Day, thousands of Buddhists gather at Borobudur to celebrate and reflect. Brihadisvara Temple. Did you know the Brihadisvara Temple, also called Rajarajesvaram or Thanjai Periya Koval, is located on the southern bank of the Kaveri River in Thanjavur, Tamil Nadu? It's a masterpiece of Chola architecture. Built between 1003 and 1010 CE by the great Chola Emperor Rajaraja I, it is more than just a place of worship. It's a symbol of power, devotion, and incredible craftsmanship. Ever wondered why this temple is often referred to as the Meru of the South? In Hindu mythology, Mount Meru is considered the center of all physical, metaphysical, and spiritual universes. The original layout of this 11th century marvel featured a moat surrounding the temple complex, along with grand gopurams, gateway towers, intricate frescoes and sculptures dedicated not just to Shaivism, but also to Vaishnavism and Shaktism. Over time, parts of the temple suffered damage, and some pieces of artwork were lost. However, later rulers added new mandapams, pillared halls, and fortified walls in the 16th century, giving the temple complex a grander appearance. The most jaw-dropping feature is its Vimana Tower. Made entirely of granite, this towering structure rises above the main shrine and remains one of the tallest temple towers in South India. Walking through the temple's colonnaded corridors, prakara, feels like stepping back in time. The temple also houses one of the largest Shiva lingas in India and is renowned for its stunning sculptures. Did you know that this is also the place where the iconic brass Nataraja statue, depicting Shiva as the Lord of Dance, was first commissioned in the 11th century? Within the complex, there are shrines dedicated to various deities, including Nandi, the sacred bull, Parvati, Murugan, Ganesha, and Dakshinamurti, among others. Each shrine carries unique stories carved into stone, representing different facets of Hindu mythology. Temple of Hephaestus. If you find yourself in Greece, there's one spot that stands out for history and preservation: the Temple of Hephaestus. Located in Athens, this ancient temple is one of the best preserved from ancient Greece, and it's a must-see for anyone interested in the country's rich past. But what makes this temple so special? Well, Hephaestus wasn't just any god. He was the god of the forge, the master of fire, and the one who crafted weapons and armor for the gods and heroes of Greek mythology. While he might not have been as famous or adored as some of the other gods, Hephaestus was certainly not someone you wanted to anger. After all, this was the god who could create powerful weapons with his own hands. And in myth, those weapons could easily be used against you. Sounds like a god you'd want to stay on good terms with, right? The temple itself is a stunning example of ancient Greek architecture, and it's incredible that we still have such well-preserved sites to visit today. Devaragatu Temple. Did you know that temples serve all sorts of purposes around the world? Some are places for prayer, worship, pilgrimages, and traditions. Others, however, have unique customs, like the Devaragatu Temple in Andhra Pradesh. This temple has a tradition like no other, and it's absolutely wild. Thousands of people gather annually to pay tribute to the gods in a wild stick-fighting tradition. Sounds intense, right? But this practice isn't about aggression. It's deeply rooted in a Hindu legend. According to the story, a great battle once took place between gods and demons, where the demons met their end after being struck with sticks. To honor that victory, devotees recreate the scene every year. Not to harm, but to symbolize the triumph of good over evil. Why sticks, though? Could there be a deeper meaning tied to this seemingly simple object? Perhaps they represent strength, resilience, or even the power of collective faith. This tradition isn't just about the physical act of fighting. It's a vibrant cultural event filled with energy, devotion, and a sense of connection to ancient mythology. For anyone seeking something different on their travels, witnessing, or even participating in, this stick-fighting festival could be an unforgettable experience. Kamakhya Temple. Known for its mysterious charm, the Kamakhya Temple is a true symbol of India's rich cultural and spiritual legacy. Located on the Nilachal Hills in Guwahati, Assam, it is one of the oldest and most respected places for tantric worship. It's not just a temple. It's dedicated to the goddess Kamakhya and holds a special place in India's heart. But what makes it so fascinating? Well, it's not just the beauty of the temple, but the deep history and stories that surround it. In Assam, worshipping female deities represents a beautiful mix of different beliefs and traditions, combining both Aryan and non-Aryan influences. The various names given to these goddesses come from both local Aryan and non-Aryan traditions, showing how different cultures have blended together over time. Isn't it fascinating how faiths and practices from different backgrounds can come together like this? One of the most captivating parts is the legend tied to it. The story goes that the goddess Kamakhya fell from the heavens and landed precisely where the temple now stands. This ancient tale has made the temple an essential stop for visitors from across the globe, eager to connect with this divine place. Even with its air of mystery, the temple is a popular destination, attracting both spiritual seekers and curious travelers. Karni Mata Temple. This is a fascinating and significant landmark in India. The Karni Mata Temple, also known as Mad Deshnoke, is a famous Hindu temple in the town of Deshnoke, which is about 30 kilometers south of Bikaner in Rajasthan. This temple is dedicated to Karni Mata, a revered goddess. Over time, it has become a key pilgrimage spot for followers of the Charani community, especially after access to Hinglaj was limited following the partition of India. Mata Temple became a sanctuary for them. What makes this temple truly unique is its unusual inhabitants. Rats. Yes, you heard that right. Inside the temple, around 20,000 rats call the place home. The staff and workers take great care of them, treating them like family. These rats live and roam around different areas in the temple complex. You'll find them inside the main temple, near the kitchen, hanging out by the huge iron pots used to make sweet halwa, inside rooms, and even on the rooftop. In each of these spots, there's always food available for the rats. They're truly part of the temple's daily life. There are thousands of rats, but a few of them are white, and they're seen as extra special. People believe these white rats are the spirits of Karni Mata herself and her 4 nephews. If you're lucky enough to see one, it's considered a big blessing. Visitors often go out of their way to spot them, offering prasad, a sweet, holy food, in hopes of getting a glimpse of these sacred rats. People don't just visit the temple, they also show immense respect for the rats that live there. For many outsiders, this might seem strange or even disgusting. But to the devotees, these creatures are sacred. They believe that treating the rats with kindness is part of honoring the temple itself. Stambheshwar Mahadev Temple. Close to the Arabian Sea, about an hour's drive from Patan in Gujarat, there's a little village called Kavi Kamboi. It might seem like just another quiet village, but it's home to something truly amazing, the Stambheshwar Mahadev Temple. Have you ever heard of a temple that plays hide and seek with water? Welcome to the fascinating world of the disappearing temple. It's nestled in a watery landscape that transforms its visibility daily. Every day, as the sun rises and sets, the water levels around this temple fluctuate. When high tide rolls in, it swallows up the entire building, leaving visitors wondering where it went. But don't worry, the magic doesn't last forever. As the tide recedes, the temple makes its grand reappearance. People flock here to witness this extraordinary phenomenon firsthand. It's not only an adventure, but also a chance to experience something truly unique. Solomon's Temple. Often called the First Temple, Solomon's Temple holds a central place in history, religion, and mystery. Described in the Hebrew Bible, this grand structure is believed to have stood in Jerusalem from the 10th to the 6th century BCE, before being destroyed by King Nebuchadnezzar II of Babylon during the siege of Jerusalem in 587 BCE. Strangely, no physical remains have ever been found. Why do scholars still debate its exact history and construction? According to biblical accounts, King Solomon commissioned the temple, designing it as a majestic center for worship and a permanent home for the Ark of the Covenant. The most sacred space within the temple was the Holy of Holies, a room so revered that only the high priest of Israel could enter. And even then, only once a year on Yom Kippur. What must it have been like to step into such a sacred and mysterious space? Beyond worship, it also served as a gathering place for the Israelites, symbolizing both their faith and unity. However, its destruction and the subsequent Babylonian exile marked a turning point in Jewish history, believed by many to fulfill biblical prophecy. This period is often seen as the transition from earlier forms of worship, like Yahwism, to a more defined sense of Jewish monotheism. For centuries, historians and archaeologists accepted the biblical accounts of the temple's construction at face value. But by the 1980s, many experts began questioning the traditional narrative. Could the temple have been a much simpler structure, later rebuilt into the grand version described in texts? And why has no definitive evidence of the temple ever been uncovered? Part of the challenge lies in the Temple Mount's extreme religious and political sensitivity. Modern excavations are not allowed at the site, and earlier digs in the 19th and 20th centuries failed to uncover any clear traces of the original temple. Could something still be hidden beneath the surface? Interestingly, archaeological discoveries elsewhere have offered intriguing clues. Artifacts like the Khirbet-Ke Yafa shrine model from the 10th century BCE and the Tel Motsa temple from the 9th century BCE share architectural similarities with the biblical descriptions of Solomon's temple. Meanwhile, structures in Syria and Turkey, such as the temples of Ain Dara and Tel Tainat, display parallels to the temple's design. Could these findings hint at a shared architectural tradition across ancient cultures? As for its location, most scholars agree that the temple once stood on Mount Moriah, the same site now occupied by the Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem. According to the Bible, King David purchased this land from Araunah the Jebusite and chose it as the sacred foundation for the temple. Some theories even suggest that Solomon built the temple on an older Jebusite shrine in an effort to unite his people. Toprom Temple. Let's talk about Toprom Temple. Now, this one's got a special story that makes it worth talking about. Here's the thing. It was built as a Buddhist monastery by a king who wanted to dedicate it to his mum. Isn't that sweet? But here's the twist. This wasn't just any little project. To run the place, they needed a huge number of people, like over 880,000. Yep, that includes 2,700 officials and 615 dancers. Sounds like a lot, right? It is located inside the Angkor Archaeological Park in Cambodia. It's a stunning example of how nature and human architecture blend together beautifully. Built in the late 12th and early 13th centuries, as time passed, the jungle slowly took over this temple. Huge trees like silk cotton and strangler figs grew right through the temple, wrapping around its walls and towers. It's like nature's own version of art. You might recognize Toprom from Tomb Raider. Its incredible ruins have been captured in pop culture for their beauty and mystery. The way the stone and foliage intertwine creates an atmosphere of wonder that draws visitors from all over the globe. It's a place where nature and history meet, and it's nothing short of magical. Hope you like the video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing stories from around the world. See you in the next one.